have like a second half contest so people don't give up, and I ended up winning that. All right, Awesemo, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you on a Sunday. We have dueling Game 7 action here in the association. We also have 2 Game 7s tonight in hockey. Hockey ended up having 5, not quite the record. The record was 6, but 5 series go to Game 7. The NBA, we just have had a luxury of multiple game slates. This might be it for basketball because I think they're going to stagger the Eastern and Western Conference Finals.
I think they are too. Here's the thing. That's why we're just firing today. I mean, this is this is a 2-gamer. If you don't do it today, it's showdown season, fam. So prepare thyself. I'm sure we'll get some 2-game slates that we get to play
rolling
between days.
Slates.
The roll,
yeah.
But they're going to have just crap prize pools, and we're not going to want any part of that. So
that's when the optimizers fall apart and advance themselves too fast. Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. It's like having double headers. It's like it's coming and the tools still break.
Good times.
Good
party.
Times. Good
hey
times.
Everybody, let's roll. I'm excited. This is this is a fun 2-gamer though.
Oh, we've got plenty to talk about here. We're going to let people collecting into chat. We've got about 500 people watching right now. That is awesome. It was a little lighter on Mother's Day, but that's okay. We should all be honoring the people that brought us into the world. That would be our moms. So that was fun. But today we've got nothing but basketball. 3:30 game, and then 8 o'clock game. I think is 8 o'clock tonight is the tip off. So we've got a long time between the games. We got to see Mr. Eric Lindquist do some not even late swapping. I believe you were already on Kevon Looney Friday night. I went to bed at 7:40. That's right, 7:40. Woke up around 9:30. Decided to brush my teeth and go to bed. Felt I didn't need dinner and slept through the rest of the time. So I missed the 22 rebound performance. I missed the major scoring by Giannis, by Tatum. I missed a lot of stuff on Friday.
Why? I mean, EMac, this is on you, man. I mean, here's the thing.
It's a long week.
Kevon Looney, did I expect 22 rebounds? I absolutely did not, but I bet a lot of props. Once Porter was ruled out, that became kind of an auto. I just jammed Kevon Looney as much as I could possibly get to. I got to on both sites, and it was one of those slates where if you didn't have them, you didn't win. And that's what's fun, is when we can give the subs, the people, the followers here in chat and everything, when we can give them the nuts. And Kevon Looney was the nuts. I was glad he was my highest owned player. I was glad that, it was kind of where all the stars aligned. And sometimes it can be a great play and it just doesn't pan out. It was nice to have that one pan out for sure.
Yeah, always fun. Always fun. All right, we are going an extra 30 minutes today. After lock, we'll be talking OddsShopper. We'll talk about the sister site of Awesemo, how you can utilize that for your sports wagering across all of the sports. A lot of fun with that. And you don't even have to do actual sports wagering. You can have sites such as Prize Picks, Underdog, Thrive. Who else is out there that does a few other sites that do?
Those are the 3 we care about the most.
Yes, there's that one, something not so super draft, I think.
You think you're so funny. You think you're so witty.
I'm very clever. Very clever. All right. So hit the like button. We appreciate that. Please do subscribe so you can keep up with all of our shows, all of our giveaways coming out after us today. Really nothing. We're the last show today, but we have some videos on demand for best ball. A lot of NFL drafting, and tomorrow is mock draft Monday. So you are going to get a show at 4:30, I believe 4:15 with Matt Savoca talking about that. You're going to get the MLB strategy show tomorrow morning. Eric will be back at it with Terry. It'll be an 11 o'clock start. And then of course at 5:45, we're going to get the MLB live deeper dive and live before lock combination. No NBA tomorrow. I'm guessing the next series will start. Obviously the next series starts on Tuesday, but the teams from tonight, when are they going to end up playing their games? Are they going to slot in the every other day?
I have no idea.
I tried to look for it and I couldn't find anything good. You would think that would be something that would be easy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, we're going to show up and do shows whenever they come on. And, this just could very well just be the last 2 gamer you have all season long that would occur on the same day and have any kind of semblance of good prize pools. So let's enjoy it.
All right. Also, what else do we need to enjoy? That's about it. Let's get on. Are you ready to discuss the 2 games?
Oh, yeah. It's this game or even from just doing a show this morning with Lofty till now, things have drastically changed.
All right. Well, take it away, my dude. What are we going to do with Robert Williams?
Yeah, he's the huge question mark of the entire slate in terms of how he affects Al Horford, what people are going to do with Robert Williams, how many minutes can you actually project him for? Because it's a pretty wide range. If this wasn't a game 7, if this was like a game 2 or a game 3, I think that we could look at Robert Williams and pretty safely discard him at 5,500 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I think we'd still have some interest, 4,800, simply because of how low it is. But I mean, he could play 19 and a half minutes, which is what we have him projected for. I think that that's probably the correct way of looking at it. But if he's going to be 2.5% on DraftKings, you have to be playing more than that. I mean, he's in the boom bust tool right now, still a 12.1% optimal appearance rate. And it just speaks to how volatile that is. I think if you're building 1 lineup or 3 lineups, maybe he doesn't make it anymore. I'm not as enthusiastic. I assumed he'd probably be starting. Grant Williams is going to continue to start there. So it just puts a lot of questions into what those minutes can possibly look like. Al Horford's played revelatory here for the Celtics team. And if Robert Williams doesn't look right, there's potential for him to play 10 minutes, like 12 minutes. There's like 10 to 25 minutes. I doubt he plays more than 25, but for a guy like Robert Williams, who's a 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy over the course of however long, it's hard for me to not say that I still don't have interest. Like I still want to get to some shares.
So so let's look at this from a showdown from the single game. Where do you want to go with Williams in that? He is.
Yeah, I mean, you don't play him, I don't think, in the showdown. I think you've got Portis there for 600 more in showdown. What is the number? Oh, nope, it's 400 more. So I'm looking at the DraftKings. Yeah. Yep. So you have Portis, you have Brook Lopez. I think Robert Williams, I'd probably play over Brook Lopez. Derek White's going to be extremely popular, 5,400. I bet you're going to run into some Grant Williams, 4,800. I mean, it's a single game and it's a guy who's going to play 18 minutes, 20 minutes, and the ownership's going to be much, much lower coming off the bench now. It also just creates a lot of problems and headaches, but I doubt that he's probably going to be somebody that I get to mainly. I'm building just 20 lineups for that showdown. Robert Williams is in 1 of 20.
All right, that makes sense. I'm doing 12. I've made 10 so far, and he has not graced it. I was curious to see where you were going to land before I built.
It's hard because, again, if he was starting, which is kind of what I was hoping, and I don't know what I really assumed. It's one of those things where you have to wait for the information to actually come before you make any kind of a judgment. And it was going to be the first game. It wasn't like Otto Porter where we're waiting for that question mark on the slate. He gets ruled out, and then you get the nuts. This is something where we're kind of aware of what the situation looks like. I just think there's positive leverage still to be had for him. He's the second most leveraged guy, but like now a 3K Bismack Biyombo, where I just completely did not like him earlier in the day because I assumed Robert Williams would play and start. Now with Robert Williams not starting, 4,800 and those minutes being drastically harder to predict, knowing exactly what they're going to be, I bet it really is based on how he looks on the floor too. Like that's so hard to quantify. So I think Bismack Biyombo becomes a much more meaningful part of my portfolio compared to what I was expecting this morning.
So let's hit on that. We'll kind of try to keep this game by game, but we got some interesting points. And there's 2. And by the way, we've talked about these matchups ad nauseum, each of them half a dozen different days, multiple times each day. So I kind of think we know where we're going with this.
Thanks. So.
Both
I mean, we've never seen these four themselves match up together. Yeah,
correct.
That's huge difference.
Yeah. So that kind of comes into a little bit of we'll talk a little bit Bismack Biyombo. We'll talk we got a super chat here from my filler arc. An interesting thing here is the combination of Luka and Giannis. And my filler arc is asking, would you fade either one of them? Or if you were going to avoid one, which one it would be? That differs by site. So I ran these numbers this morning, did it and I'll drop this link into chat so you guys can see it, but is the free article, the DFS building blocks article. So on Yahoo, which is where I kind of wrote this for, the first 100 lineups, Luka never comes in. Giannis is on about 60% of them. And then I said, okay, well, let's look at what happens on the other sites. So on the other sites, it ends up being DraftKings and FanDuel. Giannis comes in 85 and 100, and Doncic didn't come up as well on those. Now here's the interesting thing: if you lock both of them on each of the sites, on Yahoo, you can only get within like 11 or 12 points of what the median optimal outcome is. On the other sites, it's 7 and 5. So this is not to say you don't play him, but if you're doing this mathematically or mechanically just on points per dollars, and you're not influencing anything with your player pool, Doncic slides right out of the mix.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling the more that I build lineups, and even as you were talking there, I was rerunning some stuff. I took all of my rules and everything out and just ran some optimals and just seeing like what came up with Awesemo's projections and everything else. Giannis showing up 60% if you run 20 lineups. I'm just doing an allotment of 20 for comparison's sake. You get 60% Giannis, you get 0% Luka. I'm starting to think Luka goes a little bit undervalued on DraftKings at 11.6. And I think it makes sense why that is. Chris Paul is 7,700. He is going to be the most owned out of any guard, probably, alongside Marcus Smart, who, ironically enough, also point guard only. They both make sense in terms of like quote unquote value for this slate. And I like Marcus Smart a lot. Chris Paul, I'm going to continue to short. That seems to just be something that's working out. Last slate was the first time I said I was even getting close to the field in terms of what I wanted from Chris Paul. And I still think 7,700, he ends up a little bit overvalued for my liking, a little bit overowned. But when you talk about Luka 11.6 and you talk about Giannis at 12K on DraftKings specifically, I really project them within 5 points of each other, but they both carry so much merit to be able to jam both of them in together. I think there's shots where, you go Tatum and you save a little bit of money and you find some different ways to get away from Giannis. I think if you're just looking at a vacuum, yeah, I want Giannis in terms of if I'm picking one for raw points, but the positionality is going to, I think, decrease what the ownership of Luka should be on this slate. And I think that's just kind of making me naturally just jam him a lot more. I have 52% on DK. That is exactly double the field. We have him projected 26%. And Giannis, I'm coming in right around the field, which is, around 38% on DK. I've got 36% right now. And I don't know if I'm going to be budging off that very much. I truly just think, he's a phenomenal play. There's no questions about it, but it's so much easier for me to find paths to Luka and save at power forward, at small forward and such, than it is for the inverse. I think it just is very clear cut that because of how much good value people are playing at guard, at point guard specifically, that Luka is going to get very, very underowned compared to what I think we are assuming.
Yeah, and I think that's a good talking point, because there was a super chat at the very end of the strategy show this morning that someone had said, would you avoid all three of Giannis, Luka, and Tatum? And I don't think there's any way I would do all three. I could see just playing one of them, but and then you really don't have to go dumpster diving. You don't have to worry about a Bismack Biyombo or rolling the dice on, is it Grayson Allen that's going to make the 4 3-pointers today, or is it Pat Connaughton? You don't have to worry about Wesley Matthews. Is he going to score more than half a fantasy point per minute? Do we trust Cam Payne? Do we trust Cam Johnson? They're at home, maybe. So you start to really, on lineups like that, if you're avoiding all three of them, you're really building around Booker, probably Horford, probably Jaylen Brown, maybe Ayton, I guess.
I like Jaylen Brown. I like Devin Booker. That has not changed from earlier. The only thing that I think's changed for the studs for me from earlier is I'm getting less Giannis than I was expecting. And I thought on DraftKings, and I probably am going to add this rule here, and I'll maybe get up to around 40%, maybe 60% Luka, but I don't know how many times you play out this slate where one of those two isn't optimal. Like, just thinking about it, if you are the kind of person who can find a way to fade both of them and have it succeed, best to you, because, if you look at just straight out optimal rates, Giannis is showing up 44% of the time optimal. Luka is looking like 20.4%, but this is also a slate where I think you might not need to have like the perfect lineup. You just want to be rotating some of those other pieces. I think Biyombo has some risk where, yeah, out of the middle of nowhere, JaVale McGee could end up in the rotation instead. But I think it's been pretty clear that they're going to go Biyombo here at this point. Again, he's 3K, so it's built in some of the risk that you're avoiding by playing Biyombo there. I think that, my guy Dwight Powell, I can't believe I'm saying that because I've absolutely hated this guy the entire playoffs, and every single slate I'm talking about, just play 0% Powell and let other people play the rake. I think he's a guy you might want to get to on today's slate. And I'm going to be playing well over the field of, there's so many of these low guys on the bottom end that I think have some sort of utility that I'm going to find paths to get to a lot of Luka and a lot of Giannis, no matter what.
So I know you watched the Dwight Powell aspect quite a bit. What changed in the last game? I mean, I think that was
he played really good in his first rotation. That's
and then
literally
Maxey, I don't
all
think
that
he
happened.
Maxey played in the fourth because it was a blowout, right?
Blowout.
So it was,
yeah. So Maxey Kleber is my favorite sub 5K play on DraftKings of the entire slate. I don't think, let me just make sure that I'm saying this correctly because I don't want to run into a situation. I thought I was going to get to Robert Williams not starting 4,800. I was expecting that I was going to play a lot of him. I'm not. Brook Lopez, no chance. Derek White is going to be crazy popular again. We have him at 42.5% right now. No thanks on that one. Dinwiddie, he is running a hot hand type approach where he can go out and have the minutes pushed a little bit if he's making shots like last game. Also could not. Pat Connaughton, nope. Cameron Johnson, nope. Yeah, my favorite sub 5K play is Maxey Kleber. I don't think people are realizing the last two games how wonky they are. They love to play the guys who just went nuts in the last game. He's only put up 18 and 11 in 25 and 24 minutes, but every other game previous to it, 34, 33, 28 minutes. The reason Powell played more was he was just effective in his first rotation for the first time, period. I don't think Dwight Powell is that good of a play. Luka doesn't like having him out on the floor very much. He's basically forced into pick and rolls going towards the rim to try to set it up for Dwight Powell. He'd rather have a guy like Kleber on the outside, opening up space for them, can be a knockdown shooter along with DFS, along with Bullock. That's kind of the primary way Luka wants to play. So I am going to be much, much higher on Maxey Kleber than just about anybody else in the industry. 20.3%. I am so far north of that, it's scary.
So here's a question, and so I'm kind of hand building the lineup here on Yahoo at the moment. But so I get down to my last spot here, and I'm going to leave a few bucks on the table. That's fine. So I've got a center spot, and I've got the utility, and I've got $32 left. I got to spend this money. So I'm thinking I go Portis, and then the question becomes, do I do Kleber or do I do Bullock? Big Bullock's going to play more minutes. He could luck into some 3-pointers. I think in that scenario, I go Bullock. And then I'm starting to look, and I said, well, I don't have enough to get up to 8. And then I really don't want to play Robert Williams. I'd rather play Portis over Robert Williams. But would I rather play Portis over Kleber?
Okay.
But it's a closer question, right?
Well, no, what the question is how chalky is your lineup? Because I think
not
it's pretty
playing Luka.
Okay, but I'm saying that
different.
No, I think what makes it the most important question is because if you're talking raw points, do I pick Bobby Portis or Maxey Kleber? Come on, that's not a real question. That's not the right way of looking at it. But if you're very, very chalky, this is a 2-game slate. There's no person that's going overlooked on this kind of a slate, like the way Kevon Looney was, where it's just like a glaring mistake by the field not to have tons of him. Everybody's going to be appropriately owned. I think Maxey Kleber is going to be a guy I think is actually undervalued compared to what that upside can be. But I project Bobby Portis for 6 more points. Now, 6 points, when you're talking about a difference between 55% on DK and 20% for Maxey Kleber, there's going to be some different ways that I can go about getting different and such. But when you're talking about just like straight up, all right, I'm making these other stands, I'm getting different here or there. Like Bobby Portis is the best point per dollar play, I think, on the entire slate. Like I think that's the right way of looking at it. So the reason you fade him is a guy like Kleber puts up 25 and Bobby Portis puts up 24. You're just bypassing so much more of the field. So for me, Bobby Portis would be the better play, but we got to be very, very conscious of what the rest of that lineup looks like.
Yeah, and it might be a little chalky because you've got White at 14. I'm going to put him in there. I like Cam Johnson. I'm going to play Booker over Doncic. I just closed out of it. I'm going to play Giannis. I really want to play Marcus Smart, $20 there. I think he's the best play on Yahoo today. by far. But I just wanted to give Yahoo a little airtime here,
it.
because I know we don't always talk about them, but it was an interesting build today there, because they didn't have really any egregious mispricings that I thought that the field wasn't going to be just on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming here. We do have a little offer here, the BetMGM offer. So for live before lock tonight, we're going to be talking OddsShoppers for an extra half hour. But we want to remind you that if you sign up with BetMGM and you bet on any NBA money line tonight, you put in $10. If a 3-pointer is made, you're going to win $200. Regardless of whether the rest of that bet wins or not. So basically, they're trying to give you $200. So you'll want to take a peek at that. The promo code you need to use is LBL Bets. There's a link below us in the description here. You can click on that. That'll take you there as well. But that's seems like it's a pretty good deal there, Eric.
I would agree. It seems like the best deal. LBL Bets, $10. To win 200. You get 4 $50 bets accumulated together. That's how you build bankroll. That's how you sustain bankroll too, is just being able to take advantage of all these offers sportsbooks have to get you in the door. And it's nice to have BetMGM wanting to work with us, giving us the opportunity to give that to you. So yeah, LBL Bets, sign up and use it.
All right. Anything that you're excited on from a betting standpoint today? And then we'll get back into the DFS. Since we've stepped back for a moment, I think Giannis and Tatum, the overs on the points, probably Doncic as well. I've parlayed those together. You can get, if Luka scores half a point, that's a free bet on OddsShopper or Prize Picks right now.
Did you see Luka's points line?
I did not look at that specifically.
He's 34.5 around the industry today.
As the over-under mark?
Yeah.
That's pretty high. That's right where Giannis is too.
It's really high. I love Luka. I think he's going to chuck. I think he's going to do a lot of things, but
he hasn't had to play more than 35. I'm sorry to keep cutting up. He hasn't had to play more than 35 minutes, which makes his game logs look a little wonky.
I know.
Right.
I know. That's why we're playing lots of Luka. That's why he's like, I would say alongside Jorge Soler. Why does Brandon Woodruff sucks.
Did Jorge Soler do so? Oh,
he did. I know. Good to see him again. But anyway, back to
Sunday.
This.
Why did you not play the dual Jesus at the top of the lineup? Really?
Please stop.
Really?
Stop. Yeah. But anyway, 34.5 is too many points to be giving Luka Doncic. I love him. Again, I'm going to play lots of him. He has lots of ways to fill up the box score, but 68% expected win percentage, 34% expected ROI, minus 105. So it looks like the over is getting juiced a little bit more. I think that seems like a pretty decent bet. Not anything to go completely nuts with, but Dorian Finney-Smith, over of 1.5 assists. You want to talk about wonky. Dorian Finney-Smith ran into foul trouble. He ran into a lot of problems in the last game. Guess what? It didn't matter. They won by infinity points. Only 25 minutes. He's going to play 42, 44, barring foul trouble here. So I expect Dorian Finney-Smith to be on the floor a lot. You're getting plus 150 over of 1.5. That is a smash. 37% expected ROI. Sign up for that one.
What is it called when you're surrounded by a gang of angry ducks?
What?
Foul trouble.
Oh my dear God.
I just made that one up for you. Silently, Eric is screaming on the inside rather loud right now.
All right, let's get back to it.
Okay, God. So diving into the rest of this game, of course, Milwaukee favored or Milwaukee 5-point underdogs. 205 over under. The interesting thing about this, the road teams have won 4 games in this series. The other series, the home team has won every single game. If you were picking, and there's a lot of people out there, I am not one of them, that has some Boston series or championship odds here. Are you doing some hedging? I saw that Mr. Ehrenberg talked about that a little bit on Twitter last night.
I didn't see that he did because I wasn't on Twitter last night. One of the few nights I wasn't. Left my phone at home. It felt very liberating to be separated from my phone for the evening with no NBA, nothing going on. It was beautiful to get away from it. But I think it would be hard to pass up +5 and try to do some sort of middling and just take the points with Milwaukee if you have those Boston tickets. it's like a spiritual free roll. Plus, you could totally get both sides of it. +5 is a pretty nice number for Milwaukee on the road. Obviously, we've seen both teams very capable of winning in the other team's building. I think Boston should be favored. They're favored by 5 in this spot. That seems about appropriate, but I would be very remiss not to take the +5 in this kind of a situation. I would be less inclined to just straight out money line it and try to do it that way, where, maybe you get a little bit more of a bolstered payout going that direction, but you could win both bets going +5 Milwaukee. That seems way more fun.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, the old middling.
Yeah, right. Why not?
This is why I like listening to what you and Mr. Ehrenberg are up to in these betting streets, as I'm learning how to do it here. You understand all the concepts, right? You hear about it, you think about it, and then you get legalized sports betting in your state, and suddenly you're like, wait, now how do I make a teaser work? Parlays are relatively easy, but it's the hedging and determining what you want to do that really can make the difference as you start to look for those little edges and ways of protecting your money, because it's hard to get these things right. That's the first thing I learned real quick, is this isn't easy. You say, oh yeah, I'll pick this side. It's amazing how often you can be wrong.
Well, also, there's times that you want to just embrace things that have way less than a 50% chance of happening because there's value there. So people always say, I think this is going to happen, and they speak in such absolutes. I try my best not to do that too much, because it's one of those things where I'm better at capitalizing on what I think everybody else is confident about than, what it is that I'm confident about. Like, I was pretty confident that Kevon Looney was going to smash if there was no Otto Porter there. I didn't think he was going to put up 22 rebounds or anything, but then at the same time, I didn't have a whole lot of Jason Tatum, and it didn't allow for me to really win anything at the top end of the tournament. So at the same time, you got to be able to look at the whole enchilada, looking at the whole slate and being able to say, oh yeah, there's that. And when it comes to betting, it's like, all right, I'm pretty confident that there's value here, and that somebody's being slept on or undervalued in some kind of regard. It's the same reason that maybe looking at public numbers, like you saw 96% of the handle going towards the Suns at home in Game 5. You saw them get a lot of the handle again there in Game 6. And, well, very different situations, home and road there in this series. So I'm more inclined to try to capitalize on what other people feel like, oh, I'm so right about this, than what it is that it's like I'm extremely confident about.
All right. Anything else you want to mention for Milwaukee and Boston before we look at our nightcap?
Yeah, so Milwaukee and Boston, I think we got to talk about Drew Holiday. He's really, really good. Like, he's looking a lot better now to me as a choice. I assumed I was going to get some Robert Williams and being able to just jam Luka and Giannis way over. Robert Williams is very uncomfortable now, and you have to go to Biyombo. I was talking about how I think he has a more prominent play in how this slate goes than what he did before Robert Williams was going to be coming off the bench in this kind of a role. I think Drew Holiday at 8,200 is a really, really nice piece on DraftKings. I know Lofty was a little bit higher on him than I was this morning. I'm starting to come around to the idea of getting to the field or a little bit above on him, just because of the way that he's being valued there. 35%. I think I can get a little bit over top of that. And if I'm going to be at the field basically on Giannis, or maybe a tiny bit above there, I think Drew Holiday makes a lot of sense as a guy to really play over the field. So I'm toying with some builds and trying to figure out what I want to do there in the next half hour. And then Pat Connaughton, I'm just going to be completely shorting. He's now up to 35% on DK. We don't have that secure kind of value, and people are landing on him because he's projected for 30 minutes, but he's a 0.77 DraftKings points per minute guy. His usage has been so low throughout this series. He's out there shooting so efficiently too. 6 for 8 last game, 2 for 3 from 3, 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 4 for 8, 3 for 6 from 3. Those are his last 3. If he has a slightly poor shooting day, that box score looks wonky. And so I'm going to be shorting that number drastically.
Do you think Robert Williams is going to play enough minutes to impact Jason Tatum, who has suddenly not remembered how to rebound, but has been taking on those duties in the last 3 without Williams? He has 9 in the last game, 6 and 13. He's a 6.6 career rebound guy, 6.5 in the playoffs. We've seen his number be right around that, and the bet was to take the unders in those, but things have changed. We know he's going to play probably 40 minutes tonight. Is there enough Robert Williams around there to impact him from getting a decent rebounding game again? And I would say decent is 7 or 8 would be decent. AKA the over.
Well, part of it too is Grant Williams gotten in foul trouble, and you've had Derek White play more minutes as a result from the Boston side. You get Derek White on the floor with his rebound rate. I mean, the guy, he's had 5, 5, 4, 2, 4. I think Grant Williams just going to be somebody who's going to be on the floor quite a bit more to guard Giannis, to be effective in that regard. I guess it's pretty similar rebound rates. Doesn't really move the needle there for me. Robert Williams and Al Horford on the floor together. I'm curious about how people are going to view Al Horford in this kind of a light. I talked about it earlier where I think I'll be shorting him. That ownership's come down a little bit to around 27%. Al Horford's just been so effective at the 5 for this team, absent Robert Williams, where they're not starting next to each other. But I got a feel as though Jason Tatum, his effect, it's not going to be drastic for me. You know, if he plays 18 minutes, 19 minutes, which is what we have Robert Williams projected for right now, I think it'll have a slight impact, but not enough to either deter you from playing Tatum at 10K on DraftKings. I mean, it's a tough number to be getting to anyway over Luka, over Giannis for me. He's going to project out decently well. He's going to be under-owned relative to those guys for sure. But I'm probably more inclined to be going the Jaylen Brown route still, less on Al Horford, less on Jason Tatum. I'll just say slightly, but really no effect on how I view him as a DFS play.
All right. Just when I thought we were done with this game, Charles gives us a $5 super chat and says, not so fast, my friends. He says, for the Milwaukee-Boston showdown game on DK, who would be the cheapest guy you would go with? Tice might be limited now with Williams back. So I went and looked. I made 12 teams, and I had just closed out of that when you got it. I have Peyton Pritchard on 4 of those, or probably 3 of those, 3 of the 12, 25%. He's 1,800. I have George Hill, Captain George Hill, on 2 of my lineups. I'm getting a little crazy there. That is not feeling great, but that's the rest of the lineups project for about 225. So I'm willing to roll the dice with that. I probably just lit that money on fire because normally I uncheck him for captain, but I would say Derek White at 54 and Pat Connaughton at 5,000. I've got on about half my lineups. George Hill is now on 7 of my 12 lineups, 2 of them being
George Hill. I was going to say, I'll expedite the answer. I have 0 interest. If I were playing 150 lineups, which I already said I'm not for this showdown slate, I would have 0 players under 4,200 Wes Matthews, except for George Hill. George Hill's the only guy that I would have exposure to. He's flat 1K. That opens the entire board of combinations up to me. I think Pritchard's a terrible play. I think Tice is unplayable. I would have 0 Tice in 150. I'm looking at Wes Matthews, 4,200 being the barometer of like, all right, everybody there and above is in play for me, and then adding George Hill to the pool.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. Hey, remember last week when I had all that campaign? And then Chris Paul actually did foul out for just the 3rd time in his playoff career, 136 games.
And Landry Shamet got the minutes.
And then campaign didn't do anything. He wasn't even on the court after Paul fouled out.
Got to be on the court to get fantasy points. I've heard that before.
Yes, so that was fun. I was not expecting Paul to foul out. And when he did, I wasn't expecting Payne to go in with how badly he had played throughout the series. So.
Was that max Payne for you?
That was. It was Chris Paul was surrounded by angry ducks, a gang of them.
Quack quack.
Foul. All right, we have Dallas, we have Phoenix, we have Dwight, don't call me foul, Powell here. You did a little diatribe on that. We're now up to, I think, are we almost at 1,500? We've got a bunch more viewers. Do you want to lead off with the Powell and Kleba?
All right. Yeah. Fun to start at this place with this game. Here you go. So Maxi Kleba has been one of my favorite plays from Dallas. From game 1 of this series on, we saw 25 fantasy points, 18 and 31. He's been a massive part of, the first 3 games of the series. Last 3 games haven't been so pretty. We've seen 21, 11, and 18. 2 of those were drastic blowouts. The other one, he just basically didn't do a whole heck of a lot on the defensive end, didn't get any stocks. He had 1 block, I guess, but just played more a more muted role for sure. But he played 34 minutes. And that's kind of what I'm looking at in a competitive game here, in a spot that doesn't get wonky. Even if it does get wonky, they have nothing to not have Maxi Kleber out there for max minutes. Same thing with DFS, same thing with Bullock, same thing with Luka. All of these guys, these primary players from Dallas, are going to play massive, massive minutes if they stay out of foul trouble. So Jalen Brunson as well, the fifth guy that goes into that equation. Dwight Powell finally played well for a first rotation, finally came out of the gate and did something. He bodied up Ayton pretty well. That was the best that we saw Dwight Powell look all playoffs long, probably since he had one decent game, whether I think it was game 2 against Utah, where he did pretty well against Rudy Gobert. But at the very last game, game 6 it was in Utah, they basically said, nope, I need him off the floor. Jason Kidd and Luka kind of looked at each other. They pointed. He just basically, he bricked an alley-oop. And since then, Powell's been in the doghouse. The reason that he still has utility on this slate is because he's 3,200. Anybody that is playing any type of prominent role, 8-10 minutes even, is in play at 3,500 and under, just because of what they open up in your lineup. This is a game 7. Somebody I saw in chat just brought it up perfectly. 2 very low projected scoring games, 205.5 and 205. Defensive minded, slow, grounding it out type styles. And Dwight Powell has utility. He's 3,200. He's not garnering any attention. He's 9.2% on DK, which for this slate, a 2-gamer, is really low. And my guy Kleber is at 20%. And I absolutely love getting to him, because even if Powell plays 14 minutes and Kleber plays 34, they both have utility. I don't even need to make a rule to, remove one from the other, even though I expect them not really to share the floor. It's going to be something where Powell is playing the 5 for those beginnings of the first and third quarter. And I expect Kleber to mop up the rest of the minutes unless Powell plays very, very well. But I think that at their current numbers, Kleber's still going to be the guy that I want to get to more of by a long shot. But Powell, he's definitely in the pool. He definitely has utility. And if he works out and Bismack Biyombo doesn't, imagine you're moving another, you're passing another third of the field, or I guess he's at 30% and Biyombo is Dwight Powell's just a prominently better play at his current ownership.
So you're saying 74%? Bismack Biyombo's a bit much right now.
Yeah, that is a lot. Here's what I'm worried about, because right now Biyombo is the number 1 most leveraged play in the boom bust tool. On DraftKings, you can play Biyombo, you can play Powell too. You can play 2 centers. It's not a big deal. But I think he ends up really, really popular compared to what he should be. And it's one of those that's so hard to gauge on a 2-game slate, because I think he's going to show up in a lot of optimizer lineups. I think he's going to be the path that a lot of people use to play Luka and Giannis. I'm almost more inclined to just play one of the two in a lineup with Biyombo than both of them, because of how many times you're going to find all 3 of those plays together, and you'll have to get different in 5 spots. So I want to be very specific about how I'm building Biyombo into lineups. I said he's a much better play now than what he was when I thought Robert Williams would start and have an opportunity to play a prominent role. I don't like him as much as I like Powell at their current ownerships, because I know Powell's going to play the floor. What if JaVale McGee ends up coming out of the gate and being the guy who plays the backup center minutes? I don't know. I think that they like the matchup with Bismack Biyombo, a little bit smaller, had some decent enough run here, but pretty sure everybody just saw game 6. Didn't go well for Phoenix. Maybe they decide to go back to McGee, and then you're bypassing even more of the field. So I'm playing way more Powell than I should. And Biyombo, I'm about at the field with, but I have to be very specific about which kind of lineups I want him in.
No, and that makes sense. Question in chat: would you play Maxi and Powell together? I don't see an issue with that.
I don't see an issue, because on DraftKings, you're getting a 3,200 Powell, where if he plays 14 minutes, that can be of use to you. So I get, normally, if this were like a 10-game slate, I would absolutely have a rule, because Kleber, him succeeding, would be directly related to having Dwight Powell not be on the floor. Well, it's a 2-game slate, and Powell's 3,200, so I'm not making that rule.
All right, Jeff Williams, I believe had that $5 super chat earlier today. He's got $1.99 out there. We did talk about your question a little bit. We've been feathering it in for the last few minutes. The what do you play of all 3 superstars, or how do you not do it, etc. But today he's saying high dollar single entry DK, best play Wesley Matthews or Bismack, to capitalize on the Bismack question. I think I would go with Wesley Matthews.
I would too.
And it's only because the JaVale's lurking, that everybody's going to be on Bismack, that go look at Bismack's game log. Why are we playing him again for that 15-point game 2 games ago? The rest of the times he hasn't cracked double digits. It's an oddity, and we could just see, this is the throw things against the wall, aka Boban.
Oh, isn't that nice? Hang on one second. Don Dizzle. Listening to Eric talk is like the end of Billy Madison. Mr. Madison, what you've said is just one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Author. All right.
Also, fuck you, dude. You're fine. It's going to be okay.
All right. Picasso TV would like to know, would you guys go Pat Connaughton or Derek White? He hopes that either is not going to foul out.
Everybody's mean to me. Everybody's so mean to me. It's fine. I don't really give a shit. Kobe White. That's funny, actually. Picasso TV. Patsy or D White. I like Derek White more, but he's very popular. I'm not going to get near the field on either.
Really? Okay.
No. Which one do you like more?
Derek White.
Yeah, I like Derek White more.
Because I'm a chalk donkey.
But are you just gonna jam Derek White? You made it sound like, oh, how dare you fade Derek White in a situation where Robert Williams gets added to the equation. So you got to make minutes for him. Grant Williams has been in foul trouble, so you have to make minutes for him. I don't see how Derek White smashes at this tag at this ownership.
I am coming in at half the field on Derek White here.
There you go. See,
I am playing 100% on Yahoo in my one lineup.
Oh, well, is he like $10? What is he?
14.
Yeah, 14. Okay. That's a misprice. So that makes sense. DK, no chance in God's green earth.
All right. Let's see. Did I get all of those super chats? I believe we did. Thank you for the super chats. We do appreciate those. We've got 18 minutes until lock. We are going to stay on for another 30 minutes. We're going to talk OddsShoppers. We're going to tell you how you can make your best bets in 30 seconds or less. OddsShopper, the Awesemo sister site, features hundreds of bets daily that will give you the edge that you need in NBA, NHL, and MLB player props. That's right. We've got MLB player props up there now. They've got expected win percentages, ROIs. You could sort by filter by the state you are in to find the best deals that are coming in on your sports books, because occasionally they do some of those odd promos, like everybody in Virginia needs to be betting on Juan Soto to hit a home run today or whatever. I get those notifications every now and then from some of these sites. So that is one way you can look at all of them on OddsShopper. We also have the parlay builder that builds out the best parlay for you. You tell it what style of parlay you want, what site you want, and what sports you want, and it'll do it for you. There's also a little builder there for Prize Picks that builds out 5 for you as well. That's a lot of fun. And if you're into really advanced stuff like Ben Rossa and Eric and what's that other guy, Nerd Ass Greg, you can look at arbitrage wagering out there. You can discuss what the hold is. There's all sorts of interesting stuff there. There's lots of content as well on Awesemo Odds, the YouTube channel, that has some evergreen videos that explain several of these concepts as well. So lots of fun to check out there. And it's a good time because you can utilize this, all these players, that those projections that are next to their name, that's what's coming out of the DFS model. And you can see right there what we think is going to happen and the likelihood of the win, and then the ROI. If you are looking at some of those sites where they're not sports books, but it's Prize Picks or Underdog, you can just sort by win percentage, because all you care is winning or losing. I mean, care about losing, but you really care about winning. So check that out. Melissa sent me a note, says, I said Boban. Did I invoke his name? If I say it a third time, does that mean he's going to set foot on the court today for something other than the national anthem and the layup line? I'm not saying it again. I'm scared. Okay. It's like saying Candyman, looking in the mirror and saying Candyman.
Candyman. All right. I'm dead. All right.
It's nice knowing you, Eric. It's nice knowing you.
Rip.
Chris Paul, what the hell's going on? Looks like a little schematic difference. He did turn 37 last week. Maybe Father Time finally caught him, but he's got 4 games in a row with under 25 fantasy points. He has one double-digit assist game. That was, I think it was 2 games ago. He led the league in assists. 5th time in his career he's done that. What the hell is Dallas doing other than playing in quicksand?
Other than that, other than them playing
they move in slow motion.
Look, as you said, he's older. Devin Booker, they're kind of allowing Devin Booker to do what he wants to do offensively, and they are just selling out to shut down Chris Paul. Chris Paul is just, it's so different going from last season where he's getting the likes of Jose Alvarado, a very small guard. He was basically back to the basket on him a number of times, you know, in whenever Alvarado was there on him. You had opportunities for him to just excel on smaller guys. They're throwing Frank Ntilikina is a big dude for a guard. Like he looks stocky out there next to Chris Paul, and he's kind of getting those limited minutes to just go out there and disrupt him. And of course, just straight up, they're not really effective in the pick and roll because, yeah, if you want to have Luka, you know, and put him in the blender, he's not going to be on Chris Paul a lot of the time. So they're kind of prioritizing Booker in the pick and roll type scenarios and getting Booker in that match, or getting Luka in that matchup. And Luka's been doing much better defensively. And it's just showing up here, especially in those home games where they've been very, very capable of getting stops. Now in Phoenix here, I still think they want to try to isolate Luka, make him play some serious defense. And that's just going to put Chris Paul to the wayside a little bit. So I think Chris Paul, it is a game 7. He has the best chance probably now than he'll ever have of getting a championship. The West is down. I can't imagine that, you know, that Phoenix is going to find ways to continue to get better as the years go on. And you get Denver, they'll be revamped. Utah, who knows what trades they're going to put together. You got to go for the jugular now if you're Chris Paul. So yeah, he's going to go out there and try. That's not going to change. But I just think schematically, the way that this game is worked out, I don't really see myself, even at 7,900 on FanDuel, where he's 54%, getting close to the field on that. And on DK, 7,700. Again, they just have found ways to try to disrupt him, sold out to just disrupt everything that he's doing. As a result, I'm just going to be a little bit lower on the field, even if he projects out as phenomenally well as what he does, because this is just one of those times when I would much rather side with the Booker side.
All righty. Yeah, Booker's been absolutely phenomenal.
Positively leveraged in the boom bust tool again, too. Like Booker's the guy that continues to go, I think, a little bit underlooked. Now, Chris Paul has positive leverage too. He has a ridiculous 46.7% optimal appearance rate. That's second best on the slate, but me playing more Booker, I basically feel like I want to be taking that side of it. And this is a very tight pricing type slate. So Chris Paul, I think, is just going to land in a lot of lineups today. And I'm willing to kind of take what we've seen the last 4 and just short him.
Yeah, I'm going half the field. I'm going to have 25%. I've got
exactly
Booker.
what I'm doing.
I'm going to go a little bit above the field on Booker. Probably get around 45%. We have him for 39, so that's kind of a push there.
Yep, I'm with you.
Booker missed all 4 of his 3-pointers in the last game, but prior to that, he was 15 of 27 in the 4 heading into the last game. That's 55%. Mm-hmm. Truth lies somewhere in the middle, but he is someone that over the years has embraced the 3-point shot and is what he's averaged. I think he averaged about 6 or 7 this season. He's clearly the primary point of the offense here, alongside Ayton. What do we do with Ayton?
Ayton's kind of curious. I mean, 6,900 on FanDuel. I think you play him over there and you don't really think about it too much. You have Al Horford at 7,600. I'm a lot lower on Bobby Portis and Maxi Kleber, who I love. I can still get into quite a few lineups over there, 57 and 4,300. But on DK, DeAndre Ayton, 7,100. I think it's really tough to make him a major part of builds. I get Marcus Smart for a little bit cheaper there, 6,300. I get, you know, if you wanted to go Chris Paul, he's $600 more to get to there. I think Ayton is fine for DK. He's just okay for me, but at 31%, I find it hard. I have 15% right now, and I think in my next run, it's actually going to go down a little bit more as I'm kind of finishing everything up. So DeAndre Ayton, yeah, he's a dude on a slate who has some upside, and you know, the double-double goes a long way. He's been consistent, but it seems like the Biyombo thing is starting to cut into those minutes a little bit. They've gone small because of Kleber on the floor. Cameron Johnson, you know, I expect those minutes to go up from what they were last game. So Ayton can't really do it for me.
All right. My filler arc asks, hey, Eric, have you worked 7 days this week? Certainly feels like that. Take a break. Also, would you go Portis or Kleber? He does not have Luka or Giannis.
I'll take a break when I'm dead.
Why did I just call him Giannis? I have no idea.
I don't know. Gianna. That's sad. I love her. Sad times. But we're back. Take a break. Portis or Kleba lineup without him. I love both of them. Portis and Kleba. I don't know how I don't play tons of both of them. I have tons of both of them.
Right. LMI on DK. Why did you say LMI? This is like,
well, last man in. It's been a recurring bit.
I know, but then we're listing a whole bunch of people here. So
let me see. Where's the super chat?
So just scroll up a little bit. Kind of rank those players, I think, is a better.
All right, last man in on DK. Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, Bullock versus Finney Smith Kleba. All right. So last man in on DK. I'm assuming it's Drew Holiday or Jaylen Brown because they're around the same number. Jaylen Brown. I'm gonna get to a little bit more of on DK specifically. And then Devin Booker. So between those three, I would go, again, Drew Holiday, I do like more now, but it's Jaylen Brown 1, Devin Booker 2, Drew Holiday 3. I'm playing quite a bit of all three, so take that for what you will. And then Bullock, Finney Smith, Kleba. I think it goes for me just because of price. Kleba 1, Finney Smith 2, Bullock 3. I think Bullock ends up steamed up coming off of a big game. And I think he's a fine play, but like, it's going to be very, very popular. You should play those guys. They all are going to give you lots of minutes, but I'm just taking a pretty large stance on Kleba around the industry, especially 4,300 on FanDuel. He's pretty popular over there, but I don't care. I'm playing lots of him.
All right. 8 minutes to go. Eddie Seha with a $5 super chat. 3 best value and 3 best pay up on DK.
All right. So for DK, best pay up, Luka, Giannis, Jaylen Brown. I think would probably be my 3 there in terms of pay ups.
Slide Booker in as a secondary.
I love Booker. I've talked
in that
about
more
him
expensive
there,
spot there. Yeah.
Yep. Booker. I called him 3A and 3B, I believe, on the previous show at the tail end. Jaylen Brown and Devin Booker. I just think they're phenomenal plays at their numbers. And in terms of value, take it for what it is because you're going to get Bobby Portis very, very popular. He's 56%. But he's got to be considered number 1. I consider Marcus Smart number 2. I'm going to call him value at 6,300. And then we all know my love affair that I've had with Maxi Kleba throughout this show. So I'm going to throw him in out sub 5K. He's your guy.
All right. How are you doing on your uploads? You good?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to upload mine right now. We're going to stay on till 4 o'clock. We still got a lot of time left, but only 7 minutes until lock here. So please do hit that like button. We appreciate it. Also hit that subscribe button. That would be helpful for us as well. I'd like to see, come on, we have 1,400 people watching. We just need another 70 likes to get to 300. Let's get there. That'll be fun. It'll make me happy today. And what do we want? We want to make me happy.
We want EMac to be happy. We do not want sad EMac. Sad EMac, I can't imagine what that would look like, but I don't want to because he's our future president.
It's not fun. It's why I don't go on Twitter very much anymore. It just, the world makes me sad. It's a sad place out there.
Yeah.
People are not
awful.
People are not good. They're inherently
24 hours or 48 hours, pretty much. Milwaukee, Buffalo. What are people doing?
There's must
not enough time. Not enough
remain
time.
Quiet to keep job at Awesemo. Okay. One of these days, I'm just be glad Terry's not on here because he wouldn't rein me in. I would go say things that are true and would not be helpful. So who are you most terrified of not potentially playing today or being under?
Jason Tatum. Okay. If Jason Tatum goes nuts, I'm not winning money more than likely. So Jason Tatum has to be the answer.
Would you consider placing some Jason Tatum point over wagers to sort of hedge this?
No, I'm not the hedging type. I mean, if I can double down on something and find a way to get there, it would be great. I mean, everything's a good bettable thing at a certain number, but I don't want to bet on Jason Tatum succeeding while shorting him in DFS.
See that? Just make sure I haven't lost. I felt like I lost a super chat there, but I think we got all of it. Thank you for the super chats. We got a lot of
you guys are the best. Dorian Finney-Smith bounced back spot 5,200 FanDuel. I'm just kind of going through this. I have a crazy amount, more than I thought I did. So cool. Gio Urshela home run. Let's go Twins.
Let's just make sure I hit upload here.
Booker and CP3 together or no, just fine to play together. They're both cheap enough where you can totally play them together. I can remember times this season where we played them both at like 9K. The huge difference is that like the Mavericks have just slowed these games down so much that it's more difficult for multiple guys who both need the ball in their hands, or primarily Chris Paul needs the ball in his hands to create assists. And it's usually guys that aren't Devin Booker, because Devin Booker's creating for himself. So there's some type of merit where it's like, naturally, you're not going to play one and the other together if you're hand building, yada, yada, yada. But like, if they show up organically just into lineups and Cruncher, I have no problem playing them both together.
All right. Just looking at anything else here. It looks like we're
I'm kind of rounding out my lineups here too.
Yep.
Colton Wong, the worst, just mega chalk homer. Cool. Awesome.
Colton Wong. Huh. He was popping on, I believe the bomb detector had him up there. Guys got to follow Gunbacker at Gunbacker on Twitter. He's pretty sharp with the baseballs.
He is. He's very sharp with the baseballs. Here we go. Hang on.
All right. So sidebar spelling needs some help. Hey, let's be nice. The sidebar creator today, it's his birthday. It's Awesemo's birthday. So let's be nice and kind, because he's getting old. Not as old as me, but he just caught up to me. We're almost birthday twins, because mine was just 2 weeks ago.
And twins. That
was a great campaign 25 years ago.
You're welcome.
Good. Do you remember that? Are you old enough to remember that one?
But I mean, I do, because I just quoted it, but I don't remember it like specifically verbatim.
All right. THC says he needs to take down a GPP so he can quit the U.S. Postal Service. Nice.
Oh, I don't work there, but you're a hero. You guys work very, very hard.
There's 2 S's in OddsShopper. That's good. There's also 2 O's in Goose. Top Gun. You gonna go see Top Gun Maverick?
I sure am.
That should be a good movie.
Yeah. My wife saw it 3 years ago, because she works for Paramount, and so they were able to see it forever ago. It's just crazy that it's finally coming out now. Like, it's been 3 years that it's been done and like ready to go.
In the can. Yeah.
Well,
you got to see this one in the theater. I mean, that would have, just think of how bad the pandemic would have been if everybody would have gone to see that in the theater. Because I think I would have, and I was super careful during that. But it's Top Gun. It's Tom Cruise. It's the Danger Zone. The Danger Zone. 2 minutes to go here. We're gonna see.
You're from another world, EMac. You're from another world.
We're on here for another 30 minutes. We're going to talk OddsShopper right as soon as we switch over here at Lock, but definitely upload those lineups if you guys have not already. We've got a couple deals for you out there, including that BetMGM deal, where if you use the promo code LBL bets when you sign up for BetMGM, if you place a $10 wager on any NBA money line tonight, when the 3-pointer is made, they're going to give you 4 $50 bets. That's turning, and those are just the little bet vouchers, very easy to use. Most of the wager sites do those. It's very simple. So it's a lot of fun, but that's a nice way to start off your bankroll and have a few chances for wins, because then you can play those use those for any types of wagers. So you can try to pick the more longer odds, or probably the shorter odds, if you will. You won't win as much, but you monetize that money. And that's the important thing. Monetizing, because withdrawing way better than depositing.
It's what I've heard.
All right. Penny Benjamin, huh?
Penny Benjamin.
Yeah, the Admiral's daughter.
Top Gun. I don't know though. Sorry.
Oh,
finishing my stuff.
Okay.
27 seconds. And I'll return to the land of the living here in 1 second. Oh man. There's
Mr. Nice Guy says he's got tickets already for Thursday, the 26th, first showing of Maverick. He can't wait. Should be good. I didn't know that. I think Miles Teller was very well cast as Goose's son.
I would agree.
I didn't think it would be, but I've seen.
Got a new show, The Offer, too, on Paramount Plus about the Godfather creation. Heard it's really, really good. So check that out too.
That one looks rather interesting as well. I believe you ever see Grey's Anatomy.
Oh yeah.
The Alex, he was on the earlier seasons. He was one of the doctors. He plays Marlon Brando in The Offer, I believe. That would be interesting to see how his act.
I don't understand what we're getting at here.
Yeah, it'll be good. He's a young, definitely on the younger Marlon Brando side.
How about Hunter Green finally doing what I've been begging him to do forever? 29.2. How you doing, my dude? Him and Scooball, the absolute stone cold nuts. It is a great time to be alive.
I'm gonna go look at my currently winnings. Am I happy? No, I'm freaking Mr. Even.
Sixth in the mini max. What do I need? I need Bregman to do something. I need Alvarez to do something. That'd be cool.
Baseball currently winning $205.19. Currently entered $205.95. I'm losing 70 cents.
Well, there you go. Oh man,
what are you gonna do?
You're the absolute best.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna talk OddsShopper for the next 30 minutes here. So open up your favorite DFS sports wagering sites of choice. Those can be some of the DFS sites, and if you go to OddsShopper, it's AODDS Shopper, you get all the good stuff. So we can go to the homepage here, and there's betting articles that you can get every day. There's betting resources that help you out. A lot of the pages, they'll pop up with a little link with a video that'll describe how to do certain things. We've got the Awesemo Odds YouTube channel where you can see some evergreen content there as well. We're going to click on NBA bets. It's going to bring these up. Now, the one thing that you need to know, and we're working on getting this to last a little bit longer, but as soon as we hit the technical lock time, some of the bets start to flip over and the feeds don't come as quickly because the sites don't like to put them, the sports books kind of are like waiting to pull them back at the last second, because who knows when NBA games actually start, because it can be anywhere from 3 minutes after the hour to 17 minutes, or 3 minutes after the alleged start time to 17 minutes. Very difficult. But in any event, you can go over here to OddsShopper and you click on in the parlay builders. It'll build out parlays for you. You can filter on the left side. You can choose the type of bets you want across the top. You want to look at team futures or player futures, you can get to that. But if we just click here on player props, it'll sort by that. And then on the left, you can, I usually just to get rid of some of the fluff and the things I don't like to wager on, I'll just do points, rebounds, assists, and 3-pointers. Those are the ones I like to look at. And then I like to use this for prize picks or underdog, etc. You can just sort by best projected win percentage. So for those of you that don't have sports books, you don't have to worry about the VIG and the ROI per se. From that standpoint, all you care is what has the best chance of winning. Now you'll go in here and you'll see usually these will be similar or half a point higher or lower than like Prize Picks or those other sites. That's where they're taking their little percentage out of it by just tweaking the probability of the victory or the loss slightly. But all these numbers that come in are updated immediately from whenever the Awesemo projections are updated, as well as these are constantly refreshing the odds over at these various sites. If you click on any of the sites, there's all sorts of offers where you can get promo codes and different things. So BetMGM, we have the bet, place a money line bet, and if there's a 3-pointer made, you get $4. There's other ones here you can claim. Here's one that says bet $10, win 200 if either team scores more than 22 points. So essentially they're trying to find ways to get you to deposit a little bit, give you some tickets, but this is what you want to do, because that's how you can get a little more bang for your buck here. So we'll focus on the second game here. Although I guess we might have a few moments. Nah, we're getting too close probably. When do you think this game's going to start?
It's generally been, it always depends on what it's on. It's ABC, so ABC ESPN today for the first one. So it's generally like 17 minutes has been the last two. It's literally started 17 minutes after the start. So during TNT, it's been like 4 minutes. So those get started right away. But ABC and ESPN have been kind of milking it. So I'm going to say we set the line at 14 over the hour. So get your wagers in, everybody. What minute mark does it start at? I'm setting the line at 14, over or under, go.
So how do you feel about Jason Tatum at 30.5 points and Giannis at 34.5? Giannis actually has gone up a point from what this was posted yesterday.
I really don't have a crazy lean for Tatum. He's the guy I've had no pulse for in this entire series. I mean, I've been playing him a lot, and then I got off in game 6, and that went very, very poorly. I continued to short him here today. So, I mean, I'd probably take the under on it, but don't really have any kind of a lean on a guy who's going to get unlimited shot attempts.
How about 7 rebounds for Tatum?
Well, this is kind of a sore subject for you, isn't it?
No, because I was right.
Did he have 13 the other day?
Yeah, and
So you like the over again?
He was my bet of the day. I like the over again today.
Oh,
since
you're a sharp guy.
Starting.
You're a sharp guy. Oh, okay. I thought it was the inverse, but you're way too sharp.
No. I was betting the unders on this, even though it was popping up as one. Not that I know more than the Awesemo League. Yeah, by far, I know this much more than in this much of topics. It's very disparate, but that was one that I liked. Was the unders there? That's something I'm trying to do more, is look at the unders, because sometimes you're like, oh, I wish if this was just a little lower, I'd bet it. It's like, wait a second, why don't I bet the under? Foul troubles, injury, game situations, blowouts, not getting run in the fourth quarter. There's all sorts of ways people cannot get to their numbers here. And so if you think something's extended a little far, you can go on the others. We'll do Jason Tatum there. Any lean on 3-pointers made? How about Dorian Finney-Smith more than 2? That feels pretty good.
That feels pretty good. That feels really good, actually.
And then I just need one more here. Let's look at assists.
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith, if you get the line at 2, that's phenomenal. He's plus 125 at the book that I'm looking at, over 2.5 for Dorian Finney-Smith. And that would be a slight ROI. If you can get it at 2, it's an absolute smash.
How about Marcus Smart more than 6 assists? I like that one as well.
I don't mind that one.
So
I said it this morning. I think he thinks he's the best player on the floor at all times.
Well, he is the defensive player. He's tenacious D in caps.
Such a bad.
I
can't believe
award.
he won the award. That's like one of those really shady. How in the world did Marcus Smart win this award? And I get he's good defensively, but how could you give it to him over Gobert or Jokic, or literally Robert Williams was unbelievable defensively this season.
Yeah.
Those guys matter a lot more schematically than any guard is going to be capable of doing.
Did you throw Ayton in there?
I didn't throw Ayton. I don't mind that.
You?
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of key players on the really good defensive teams, right?
Yeah, he would be just fine. Gobert overrated on defense. No. Maybe overrated in certain matchups. There's obviously a lot of footage of him getting put in a blender, but what they don't show is the fact that he's just very, very capable of carrying an entire defensive unit against just about. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is incompetent on the defensive end, like incompetent. So it's so hard to say that it's his fault for getting blended when he knows he has to do just about everything in those type of situations to help the team. Like it's so difficult. Like Rudy Gobert on Brooklyn would be really, really fun. Rudy Gobert on, I mean, a lot of teams would be really fun. All these things everybody's saying about him now, where he can't be in any kind of a pick and roll situation. Oh, we got played off the floor against the Clippers 2 years ago, and again this year. That is psychotic when you talk about Donovan Mitchell being involved in like a massive majority of those pick and rolls.
Are you ready to do a little lineup or a little? I pulled down the DK main ownerships.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, who do you think is the highest owned player, the most popular player of the day?
Giannis.
Technically, we'll call it a statistical.
I mean, Bobby Portis would be the clear chalk.
They're 51.6 and 51.3. So is that higher or lower than what you thought Giannis would be?
I was just looking at the clutch shot on FanDuel and kind of basing it off of that. That's what Greg was kind of doing before when we were playing the guessing game on it. I would say that that's about exactly what I would have thought it is. We have in our projections almost exactly that. Giannis 38.1%, but I said it was hard to believe people weren't going to prioritize him, and rightfully so. Bobby Portis, we had him at 56 to 51. That is really, really good projection on Bobby Portis there. So I think he's about appropriately owned.
All right. Pat Connaughton.
Oh, God. So we had him for
look at
35%.
See where you do this. Let's do it this way. See where you think he is based on our last projections.
He's going to be much higher. People love playing Pat Connaughton, and I knew I was shorting it. I have 10%. So let's go 40. Am I shorting a 40% Pat Connaughton today?
47.
What?
You better hope he's not the one splashing the 4 3-pointers.
Yeah, I hope he's the anti-Splash Brothers. Well, actually, I hope he's Klay Thompson and Steph Curry from this last round. That would be fantastic. Until the last game, of course, with Klay. But my lord,
Bobby Bill, Robert Williams. Where do you think Bobby Bill's at?
This is a good one. We had him at 2.5. I don't expect 2.5, but I'll say 7.
9. So pretty close there.
Yeah, he was going to be a little bit higher owned. I talked myself out of getting to any kind of a meaningful amount. I have 4% of him. 9% is about whatever. I wanted it so bad for us, for Robert Williams. I wanted it, but we couldn't do it.
All right. So let's see. So I went over the field on Giannis. I had 63. I had 59 on Portis. Where do you think Wes Matthews came in?
Oh, he's going to be popular.
I have him at 53 because I was trying to jam in the top end guys.
53. So okay.
I'm overrepresented on the
what do we have Wes at? We have him at 25.5. God, our ownership is so good today. But I mean, if you did the same thing everybody I think is doing. Correct. You're trying to get to as much Luka and Giannis, and that's what we should be doing on this kind of a slate. The raw points matter so much. I'm going to say 34%.
38.
Okay.
So pretty good. Yeah. And so I see Arca tells us as it goes. He says everybody's lineup projections are lower because they went to pay for Luka or Giannis today.
Exactly.
And the extra rotations are going to be tight, because it's the playoffs, etc. So
I'm getting the impression though, based on what we're seeing here, I get the Byron Buxton home run. I love him more than EMac, more than
Would you rather have Byron Buxton on your team or Juan Soto?
I will take Buxton over anybody in baseball. Anybody.
All right.
You name a person, I would rather have Byron Buxton.
Sid Finch.
No, stop it.
Roy Hobbs.
You could have said Mike Trout and we could have had a conversation, or Shohei Ohtani, we could have had a conversation. Game started 12 minutes, the 12-minute mark. Oh my God, first basket. This is why the first basket stuff. I mean, I got to do some research in it in the off season, but Grant Williams for 3, first basket.
That is one of the most exciting bets that you can do.
It's pretty insane.
It is, especially if somebody goes down and it's not your team doesn't win the jump and the other team goes down and then they miss a couple shots and then your team has it back and your guy doesn't take a shot. Yeah, it's.
I'm curious. What are the bets? Like, we got chat. We've got some loyalists here hanging out after the fact. I'm very curious. What are people's favorite recreational bets? And I say recreational simply because I don't think there's enough data that anybody's really figured out what to do with some of these first, like the no runs first inning, talking about first basket, talking about anything of that regard. Like, what are people's favorite recreational bets where they're just like, oh, that is the best sweat possible, regardless of it being like a positive EV thing to do?
Hockey, first 8 minutes.
First 8 minutes is pretty exciting. Yeah. First 8 minutes is pretty exciting. And you know how many times it's hit in the last number of times that I've looked at it? Like every time somebody scores in the first 8 minutes, it feels like, except for yesterday, Edmonton Kings, that was kind of a bummer of a game.
All right. A couple more here, and then we'll turn back over to the betting.
Wesley Matthews bucket.
Where do you think Daniel Tice came in?
I don't know, but they're paying the rake. I have 0% Daniel Tice. I will say 3%.
4.
Okay.
George Hill at 3.5. That I'm 10x the field.
George Hill, I talked about it. He was my path to try to get to some of it from the earlier show. I ended up with.
I'm hoping for 11 fantasy points. I'm not. I
didn't play crazy. 3K. I played 15%. It's George Hill. He's 1K on the showdown. Talked about him there as well. But yeah, Grant offensive foul. That's shocking. Guy, just a walking foul. Foul. There we go. I did it. Corrected myself. Milwaukee up 6-3 quick. Drew Holiday with the bucket.
I
Giannis
was
with
gonna say
the
Holiday
bucket.
is 25%. Interesting. All right, so back to
That is
OddsShopper.
really low on Drew Holiday. Did you say 25%?
25%.
I knew this was going to happen. I'm so glad that I got a little bit over top of that 35% number we even had. It was just so hard to imagine.
Yeah. Just
from building lineups with Robert Williams not a part of my portfolio compared to this morning when I had him in my portfolio. I thought Drew would go overlooked. And oh boy, if you have Drew Holiday at 25%, you are just punching air, regardless of how it worked out. You got it in good with Drew. We have an optimal appearance rate, 34.7% of him, which was basically negative leverage at 35% ownership we had him projected for. But just because of the Luka and Giannis stuff, I mean, it just became very clear cut to play more Drew Holiday than I thought this morning.
Are you following Awesemo best bets?
Sure am.
As am I. You guys really want to, because they do on the weekdays here, they do free bet of the day every day. One of our premium bets goes out on that. But if you want to get into the betting Discord, you can join the betting. We have betting packages here at Awesemo, so it's pretty good. But you can there's a full Discord for each of the betting channels. There is a picks place where every day Alex and usually Ben Rossa and occasionally Steve Buzzard, etc. Usually two of them are, if not all three, are posting bets for all the sports that they're playing. We're tracking the ROI. It has actually been positive, so that's pretty fun. It's displayed as well in there, and we track all these bets just so everybody can see where it's at. And we're doing a lot of back testing, etc., across all of OddsShopper and all of our models, and those numbers have been rather impressive as well. Oh yeah, getting to see a sneak peek at that when you consider that a lot of times these are losing propositions. So any chance you can get to not have to redeposit, to have some fun, think of this as your entertainment dollar. But even if you're just kind of a break-even player, yet you still had the opportunity to hit for, I think of it as 5-figure scores, because I usually, I'm not in large enough contests to win more than $5,000 or $10,000. That's perfectly fine for me. I never have to redeposit. That's pretty cool. Actually got to do a withdrawal on Prize Picks, trying to figure out where the hell the money went. It went to one of the cards I deposited on. Have you done a withdrawal there? Was one of my credit cards just gonna have a $3,000 credit on it now? Is that how that works?
No. So I put my bank number in, you put a check number, like the account number, routing number, and then it probably automatically directs.
It was very confusing. I'm gonna send him a note and tell him I was rather confused.
It's not too bad. You have to just go to the bottom thing and click the withdrawal button again after you process the whole withdrawal. That's the difficult part, is that I didn't know to click it twice. I don't know how you would naturally know. So it'll say withdrawal at the very bottom. Yeah.
So
do you see it there? So it'll have it listed again.
It says it's approved. Oh, so I have.
So now you have to click it again. Okay. See, proof. Might have won $1 or $2 at PrizePicks.com.
Yeah, there we go. Withdrawal.
You're the absolute worst. You're just, you can't stop being mean for freaking 12 minutes left. You need proof that EMac hasn't deposited since World War II. He hasn't. He had the thing over his shoulder. He's carrying his rifle.
No, it's pretty good. I have a lot of money.
10-3 Milwaukee. So. Boston looks tight, man.
Wow, that is
this looks tight, but I will say Tatum was zeros across the board. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think
I'm okay with it.
I think proof that I haven't had to redeposit in a long time. Like pretty much, I lucked in. I won $5,000 like 4 months into my DFS career 10 plus years ago, or dabbling in it. My wife still lets me do this all the time, never has any questions about it. And I'll even say, hey, there's a deposit bonus. I'm going to put in I'm going to use the credit card to do this, but I do that once or twice a year, and that's it. I never have to worry about it. See, because then she just doesn't care, right? Because we get a little money back, and then she can go spend it on something frivolous, and I get to watch sports and write about it and talk about it. Win-win all around, right?
Joe Lacates, EMac still living large off of war bonds.
Well played. You guys are good. You and Uncle Sam. That's good. I have not knocked out Adolf Hitler over 200 times, but I do believe Steve Rogers. Oh, come on. That was a nice call. That was a quote from Captain America.
Sorry, I'm sweating Hunter Green in this 8th inning. I need him to get through this. He's still in the 8th. He's in a jam. He's up to 105 pitches.
Wow.
He's got 2 on now, though. I am worried here about finishing this up because he's my highest owned pitcher. And what is he, 6%? He is the only thing that I'm clinging to hope at the moment in terms of trying to hold off some of the people running here. We got the McCormick bomb, but I still need Alvarez and Bregman to do something. I'm in 6th with 2 zeros from them. So well done, gentlemen. Good job. Good
My
effort.
article's coming to fruition. I liked Chas McCormick over there.
Yeah.
So he was a nice
25 on DK. What up?
Nice little discount there. So looking at some of the later wagers here. So if you guys go to OddsShopper, or if you go, if you're on playing Prize Picks, you can go to NBA projections and then scroll down and choose Prize Picks. We post those for free. I like to look at that because sometimes it's a little because I do a lot of my stuff over on Prize Picks, so it's easier for me to read that and it resonates with me. But there are many ways you can access different things. We also have for MLB, we have our MLB models, which tells you over-unders for strikeouts, tells you home run likelihood, etc. Those are home runs are kind of a fun one to look at. But for the night games here, for these, I think Jalen Brunson, if I go with his rebounds, he gets assists that game. If I go with his assists, he gets rebounds that game. And then he never seems to score when I want him to score. How would you approach Jalen Brunson today? Hope I didn't say Jalen Brown. Jalen Brunson, 3 for his assists, 4 for his rebounds. We have them both on the overs with about a 70% success rate there. I think I'd go with the assists tonight.
Yeah, I'm probably sticking away from most of these. I'm trying to find one that I
because we have to remember it's a 205 over under. If this was a regular season matchup between these, it'd be a 212, 213. We're missing.
2.5 for the assist. It's going to be a lot of Luka. If anything happens with Luka, Jalen Brunson will have the ball in his hand every single possession. But between him and Luka, those are the 2 guys who are going to touch the ball the entirety of this game. Mainly Luka, obviously. 2.5 feels pretty darn low, 74% expected win percentage. But in terms of a sports bet, it's juiced up to -168, looks like the best line. So depending on which books you have open to you, it's okay to get to, but only an 18% expected ROI. That's a little bit thin for me. I think for Prize Picks purposes, for my purposes, if 2.5 is the number, that's just Yahtzee, but doesn't seem like it. I don't really think assists, rebounds, anything there is a must. Yeah, no, I wouldn't bet anything from Jalen Brunson at a book.
All right. And one way you can just look at different players at the top of OddsShopper, it says search bets. If you type in the player's name, it'll just isolate that player and bring up all of their different bets. So I did that for Luka here just to see if there was anything intriguing. And we haven't projected for 30 fantasy points. BetMGM, remember, you can get those 4 free $50 bets at BetMGM. Just click through the link below us here, make a $10 wager today. And if either team makes a 3-point bucket, they will give you 4 $50 bets. They have him at 34.5. That's a big number. Where
they still have Hunter Green out there pitching. He's at 113 pitches. He just walked the last guy.
He's going to
3-2 count. That was so gross.
Be on
do not do this to me.
He's going to be on the injured list with a dead arm in 2 weeks.
No, I have so many shares of this, and this was the first time to really go all in. He's had to pitch at Coors. He's had to do some really brutal stuff. And Hunter Green, I've just been jamming constantly. He has a north of 7 ERA. This is the first time that it just was so clear cut. Highest owned pitcher, jam. He pitched unbelievably well. You want him to get the leash to be able to go as long as possible, but it's just, he's down to 97 on the velocity, which sounds like crazy, but he was throwing 100 earlier. I just don't know why he's still in this game. Do not walk Perez and give way to Gamble or Hayes to beat me. Please don't do this.
So here's a perfect thing to look at OddsShopper for. So if we look at Luka
basis
Doncic,
juice for Bregman too, this would be incredible. Sorry, we're back.
Yep. So if we look at Doncic, he's got side-by-side bets here. BetMGM has rebounds. 10.5 is the over-under at both BetMGM and at PointsBet. At PointsBet, you can take the over for +120. That would be your better bet. If you want the under on that, that's going to be over there on BetMGM, where it's only -150. So when we're looking at this, that -150 means if you bet $150, you can win 100, right? The other one is if you bet $100, you can win 120. So you want to know where they are, but just by definition on that, it breaks it out for you and shows you, hey, if you're going to take the over, you're better off at this one. If you're going to take the under, you're better off at this one. So that's something. And we're 7 games into the series. The lines are relatively tight. We didn't have any really new information that's happened today, other than starters probably playing like as many minutes as they possibly can if it's going to be a close game, or in-game injury or foul trouble. There's really no other things that are going to upset the apple cart here. But that's a quick way where you can see that there's a dramatic swing there. FanDuel, you can look at, they have their over under 34.5. If you want to take the over, you should probably take it there. Yes, you should take it there because it's slightly better deal than at BetMGM. So anyway, these are the different ways you can look at this. And sometimes it can get a little confusing for these ones that are right on the line, and it can sway your changing because as Eric was saying, and Greg talks about this all the time, you're also betting on the probability of something happening more often than the wager indicates.
Correct.
And that's the implied value that's out there. And if you do enough of those, and that's where people, I hate when it's, units and all this, but what it means, it's a great concept. It means if you bet the same amount each time and act a certain way, you can have a much more realistic tracking of your success and your ROI. If you're betting $5 sometimes, at $50 sometimes, and $100 sometimes, I won the easy $100 bet and I won the $5 long shot bet. What's my ROI? I don't know. It's exactly. not on a consistent unit basis anyway. So that's where people talk about units. It's not because they're trying to be incredibly pretentious, but they really are on Twitter. But there's a reason behind it.
I'm in 4th, 11th, 36th in the $1 mini max, and I need an Alvarez bomb right here. 0-2 pitch. Great. Awesome. Good job, Alvarez. Down in the count early. 0 for 3 today. I was told he's the best hitter in baseball. He's not, but I love the man. I do love Alvarez.
You know what's dangerous? Not having your computer plugged in.
Honestly, Jordan Klein would have had a heart attack. I think Mike Awesemo already had one because of Phillies doing everything and the Dodgers, that series. And then, of course, there it is. Yep, exactly. And then, I don't know, something happened with the Sixers. I think that they played basketball and bad things happened, but whatever.
Just noticed I was getting the you have a low battery warning. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I'm not, because
sure. Just like you were hardwired the one time. Sure weren't.
It's no, I still haven't gotten a new clip. I need to get a new cord.
What?
Oh, I'm no longer. What happened?
Oh, he's gone. Literally left. Now he's back.
That was weird.
That's the weirdest thing ever. You're a weird
guy. I didn't touch anything.
Alvarez did something. Oh, no, he grounded out, and then lots of things happened. Alvarez grounded into double play, second to shortstop, first Altuve. What just happened? Everything that I tried to read in that game breakdown is the weirdest thing ever. All I know is that I'm pretty sure Alvarez got 0. Yep, 0 points. Awesome. Well done. Good job. Good effort.
That's good. Oh, Arcatelsa says he thought we were using desktops. I think some people have desktops. I just happen to have a computer. My computer is almost 4 years old. I would not mind getting a desktop. Yeah,
I have laptop. I have iPad. I have situational stuff where I try to mix it up. But I'm going to be getting a desktop pretty shortly. I want to have that in addition.
Yeah, I have my work laptop, and that's what I switch in and out of my workstation, but they're not compatible. So I have to undo all the wires and then rehook them up to the other thing. So that's what makes our producers a little nervous.
Sometimes Seattle's just starting to go nuts. This is ridiculous. Julio Rodriguez starting to come to life. He's up to 258 batting average.
So is Jared Kelenic, is he just
he's never going to play in the bigs again. He's just, I feel really bad for him. He got the case of the who's the guy that I'm thinking
Rick
of for Milwaukee? No, Milwaukee.
Chuck Knobloch?
No. I mean, Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw to first. That was the major issue. But you had what's his face? The guy who he's been batting 9th in some lineups for them, but he got sent down again because he strikes out at a 40% clip. The second baseman.
Carolina?
No, second baseman currently Milwaukee. He was just there a second ago. And
Milwaukee. Sorry, I was thinking Minnesota. That's why I'm
okay.
Minnesota players.
Because now
Mariners
Jason Peterson's
8
playing.
runs. How did that happen?
Yeah, that exploded quickly. I'm now fading them hard, it looks like. Because it's all Seattle stacks that are winning right now.
Yeah, but they only have 2 home runs.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it's just the whole stack. Crawford, Julio. Julio has 26. That's helpful. If you could have landed on that. Winker's 12. You play that with McCormick or Wong if you can get both of them. Yeah, everybody above me. I'm in 9th now. It's sad. Everybody above me, Seattle stack. But at least it means, I mean, if I can get Alvarez back in the 9th, they're the road team. At least maybe he can do something for me. That line can keep moving. I've got Almora that I need to have do something. Just gross. Yeah, Keston Hira. Thank you, everybody. I just have to look at chat. Trust the people. They knew what's up. Keston Hira.
What's up with Yulieski Gurriel? Didn't have a single home run this season. Your reigning American League batting champion has 2 in this series against the Nationals.
What? I mean, I love rostering Yuli Gurriel because he never shorts you at the plate. He gets walked basically as much as you and me. Like we would be up there. He has like a 3% walk rate or something ridiculous like that.
The ball's always in play.
But then he has like such a low strikeout rate. He's like such a different kind of cat in terms of those numbers. He just never strikes out, but he also never walks. So you're getting up there when he's at bat and you're like sweating out something you need from him. It feels really good to know the ball's getting put in play.
So I played a McCormick, Maldonado, Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez wraparound stack. I was not expecting McCormick and Maldonado to have the home runs in that one.
Well, life comes at you fast.
Gee, thanks, other fellas who are 1 for 12.
I don't know. Hunter Green at 5%, having 48%. I feel like I won the day already. I finally got one good Hunter Green outing, and he still didn't beat Scooball. So cool times.
All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. We successfully did our 90 minutes. So that is going to be it for us. We have all sorts of videos over there at Video On Demand. Go check out Awesemo Fantasy. You can get all the fantasy football content that you want. We have a mock draft Monday. We got a show with Matt Savoca going live at 4:15 tomorrow at 11 a.m. You get Eric and Terry breaking down the MLB slate. No NBA tomorrow. You will also get 5:45 the MLB deeper dive in Life Before Lock for all of that fun. Final thoughts, Eric, before we get on it.
$22.14. Obviously, I'm hoping that some people hedged out +5, took some Milwaukee money. If you had those huge Boston tickets, our friend Greg Ehrenberg, 60-1. I'm cheering for him and him alone. I have some Milwaukee tickets for much, much less money. I picked them to win last year. I picked them to win this year. Obviously, I think the winner of this series has a really good chance at winning the NBA title. That shouldn't shock anybody. Going to be a fun game. Enjoy the afternoon. Hopefully baseball, we can get a couple of these across the line or the plate, if you will. Good times. But always hit the like button for my friend EMac over there. The Eric and Eric duo, the Sunday duo, putting in that overtime, working 9 to 5 on a nice little Sunday. That would be very nice.
All right. It would be fun. With that, gamers, you can follow Awesemo at Awesemo_COM on Twitter. I'm at EMac DFS. It is Eric Lindquist. And of course, Awesemo Best Bets. With that, gamers, good luck.
George Hill checked in. George Hill. We have a George Hill sighting. Let's go.
George Hill alert.